inhaled your fur.
There we go.
There we go. Hold on. I just inhaled his fur up my nose. Plumps, you gotta go somewhere, buddy. All right. Well, hello, crafty friends. It's Hallie with Melody Lane Inspired and all of our Zoomer friends. So today is another episode of Card Time with Jamie. So today, Jamie is going to be making her candy corn shaped shaker card. I did it. All right, Jamie, on to you.
Thanks, Ollie. Yeah, that one's kind of a mouthful. This one's actually pretty easy as long as you don't make the mistake that I made when I was doing my demo card. I wasn't thinking and I cut all my white out of the craft board. Well, the problem with that is the craft board is thicker than the cardstock. So there's a little lip right here. So I fixed that in the file and made that one a slightly off-white color, just so you'd know to do that one out of whatever weight your cardstock is for these two pieces. Out of it.
Jamie, make sure you mention those new project things you bought.
Oh, the project box. I love
Yeah,
these project boxes.
yeah, they
So
look
I
cool.
stumbled across these looking for something else. These are made by Spellbinders. This one is the big one. I think it's 9 by 8. No, it is 10 by 6.5. And they're great because they have a lid. And the
Yeah, they look
lid even has
handy.
a lip on it, so you can stack stuff on top of the lid and not lose it.
Oh, that's
And they
cool.
stack. Okay, so just like in the other one, it's going to be the same thing where, your glue on your acetate takes a little while to dry. Make sure I got all the right pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this first. This one's going to be the top layer that'll go under your actual colored pieces, but we're going to glue it to the face of, oh gosh, you can't see that at all. We're going to glue it to the face of the acetate so it can sit here and dry while we work on the rest. And I'm still just using the Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue since it's what was already loaded in my gun.
Cosmic
And it seems to
shimmer.
do pretty good with the acetate. It just takes forever to dry.
Do you know how they make super glue? Did you know that you put like styrofoam in acetate and it disintegrates and it makes super glue?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
that wouldn't surprise me.
I was amazed. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh, really?
Always works that way, doesn't it?
It does. And of course, this glue dries clear, but ideally, we don't really want the glue on the acetate where it shows.
Again, Sue was over there filling up her coffee. I'm thinking, man, I could really use some of Sue's coffee. I'm freezing.
So, Jamie, could you just take a little rubbing alcohol to get that off?
Yeah, probably. But if you get to it
It
pretty quick, you can
probably
usually just kind of rub it off with your finger.
Yeah.
it's only happening because you're recording this. That's the only reason why
Yep,
it did that.
Yeah.
that's exactly why. I have made so many worse mistakes than that. Let's see. Well, I got most of it. Okay, I can deal with the rest later. And then I'm going to go ahead and do these colored pieces on the front too, just so we can get them out of the way. Oh, nope. You want to start at either the top one or the bottom one, but don't start in the middle.
Why is that?
You start in the middle and you'll have a hard time getting them all to line up because they're all like perfectly spaced.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you want one to back up to the next one. So you can see I left just about half of the gap right here so that each piece takes half of the centerpiece.
Yeah.
So if we'd have started in the middle, we might not have got it straight, and then we'd have had a hard time getting the other two to line up.
Is that COS on the bottom, Jamie? Did you mark that so you know what glue is in there?
Yes, I did. I keep
Oh.
them all upside down, so it's easier that way. I marked all of them. I've got one that says AGG for art glitter glue and one that's marked um, BAG for barely art glue.
That's smart.
And what's the SOS one?
That one's actually a COS.
Oh,
It's for
CO.
Cosmic Shimmer.
Yeah, Cosmic. Yeah.
Okay, now this piece we can just kind of set aside. Okay, next we're going to want to do all of these center pieces. These are your frame for your shaker. And you don't have to glue the heck out of them, but you really want to make sure you've got a solid line of glue all the way around so that your shaker bits don't end up sliding in between.
What's your fur coat, buddy?
Why do you prefer that over foam tape, Jamie?
Foam tape is sticky, so you end up having to use like your powder tool to get the stick off of the sides. Otherwise, all your little shaker bits will stick to the edges where the foam tape is.
Me and Alex did a card like that once. Remember, Alex? I can't remember. We glued it while the glue, yeah, you can't put your shaker pieces in while your glue's still wet because that's what happened. It was all just like stuck to the side. Like,
Yeah,
Oh my
it
gosh,
wasn't
I've
great.
done that.
I think that was the cocktail shaker card we did because we were together for that.
Yeah, I think so. Blame it on the cocktail.
This is actually, other than the time it takes to cut, this could also be done with a single layer of Cricut's heavy chipboard. And I've done that too. It just doesn't do well if you're doing intricate cuts. Like if there's anything really sharp, it won't get into those sharp corners well.
What machine did you use this time?
I used the maker on this one, but you should be able to. I think actually you could even use the Joy Extra on this one. You would just have to change the score line to a foil line and use your foil tool to do the scoring on the back piece.
Okay.
Or you could fold it by hand. It doesn't really matter. It's just a tiny little, it's just this like line right here. Okay, now that's your frame, and that one can get set aside for a minute. Somewhere on here. Now this back piece is Cricut craft board, so it's really thick, so you kind of really have to struggle to see that score line. I just kind of know where it was, so I just kind of started to bend, and then it'll grab and do its own thing. You only want to add glue above that score line. And then this is your other piece of plain white cardstock. Okay, now we'll glue the frame to the rest of the card so that we can fill it up.
That's really cool, Jean.
Okay. Huh?
That's really cool.
Okay, let's see. Now I can't remember anything for more than about 3 seconds, so I'm going to leave this here so I remember which colors go where. On my first one, this one is some Fimo slices that I've got from Amazon. I had to sort them by hand. It was like a multi-pack that had, I don't know, 9 or 10 colors in it. I didn't want to do that again. So I pulled out sequins from my stash this time.
Like separating the M&Ms or the Skittles when you just want one
Oh my
color.
gosh. I sat here for like an hour sorting those the last time, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that live. I think I'm going to use sequins.
And they had a little sparkle.
That's good.
Is there a rule of thumb about how much you should put in the shaker cards? Like, um,
I honestly just try to give it a good enough amount that it almost covers it if it's flat. Because as soon as you pick it up, they're all going to drop to the bottom. So you could, I'm not going to with this one, but you could even glue a few of these in just kind of randomly up high so that when the card's standing up, there's still some up at the top to look at.
Oh.
Okay, now we glue this piece onto the front. And now you're basically done. You just need to let it dry before you get too crazy with it.
I love the sequins in there. I think that was a good. Just add some shimmer and sparkle to it. It's so fun.
I kind of wish
Yes.
my yellow sequins were a little bit different. These two are holographic, and I couldn't find any yellow holographics, so they're a little bit different.
It's cool.
Then when you open it, you've got your Happy Halloween. And because I did this back one also out of the craft board, it's strong enough to stand up.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
So the only
Like-
thing I used regular cardstock for was this one piece on the front and then the piece that actually glues onto the back. Because it doesn't really matter how strong that is since there's so many layers of craft board in between.
Very cool.
But there you go.
I like it.
Now I'll spend the next hour getting this glue off.
Give me an idea for a birthday, like a construction cone birthday card. You know, like when you're
Oh my
like,
gosh, that would be really cool.
yeah, right.
Just move the stripes a little bit to make the white stripes on it. That would be
Yeah.
really cute.
I hope you'll be 50 in a couple of years. That'd be
But
perfect.
yeah.
Do we just keep
Super
moving
easy.
over the hill? I feel like we move over the hill. Like whatever age we are, we'll just pass that on. Like, you know, if you come up to 40, it's not gonna be 40. We'll go 50s. And then when you're 50, you say in your 60s. And when you hit 60, you say, oh, that'll be my 70s.
This came out awesome. I think I liked the sequins actually better, actually.
Yeah, I actually think I like the sequins better too.
They
Oh,
fill
yeah,
it
me
more
too.
too. Like they're larger too, so I think that helps
Yeah.
because
The shine.
Yeah, and I think it would make a difference too. Like,
Gloria.
if I gave these to my two youngest grandkids, one of them's a boy, so on that one, I would probably give him this one.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I would save the sparkly one for my granddaughter.
Depends on how old the boy is. How old is he?
He's 2.
He
He
might
probably
like
wouldn't
the
care one
shine.
way or the other.
He probably liked the shine.
Yeah, he probably would.
Mhm.
He'd probably take it apart and try to eat them, actually. He would think they were cake
true.
sparkles.
Yeah.
Well, I like the sequence too because I think that orange kind of matches with the orange cardstock.
And the
Yeah.
orange on the
And that's
yeah.
another thing
Yeah.
too. You could, for these front pieces, if you really wanted to go all out, you could cut these out of glitter cardstock. Cut a piece
Ooh.
of orange and a piece of white and a
yeah.
piece of yellow, and then you could have all kinds of shine and sparkle.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like the orange part, make it orange, glitter cardstock, the yellow one. And then you could put the white sprinkly things in all 3 sections. I don't know.
And that would be really cool. I wish I'd have thought of that.
There we go.
And I made this out of all basic shapes. So except for the font that I used inside, which is an access font, this card is free to make. So if you change the font to a system font, it shouldn't cost you anything.
And if you make enough of them, you can make a flower.
I was just thinking the
You
same
could,
thing.
A unicorn, or not a unicorn, a candy corn snowflake.
or a ceiling fan.
Mm.
Mm. I need
Almost
to
looks
get
like a
shaker
winter hat.
pieces.
Well, thank you, Jamie. So this will be available on the crafting Zoom room. So the file for this, and I see Dawn, you're working on it, aren't you?
Mhm.
Put it together? Okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
So
I just haven't put the shaker bits in, but it works.
Awesome.
Yay. Well, thank you, Jamie.
Hey,
Well,
Yes,
you're welcome.
thank
It was
you.
fun.
Oh,
I look
this.
forward to it.
I
Well, I
just
have no
it,
shaker stuff.
I think, with
It's
all
a
the
very
different
cute card. I like it.
I
Yeah.
think